What if I told you there's a moment in your day when your entire reality can be reprogrammed, and that, in just 60 seconds, you can install a new destiny in your mind, one that completely changes what you will see, feel, and experience starting tomorrow? What you're about to discover is not an ordinary technique. It's a silent, almost forbidden method that works at the exact point where science and spirituality meet, a code that gives you access to the most powerful part of your mind, one that most people will never consciously use, but you will. Today, you're going to learn how to activate your higher vibrational field using a secret revealed by Jacobo Grinberg, the ability to command the mind so that reality obeys. The method you're going to learn today is a practical unfolding of his studies, and it can change your life in just one day. Imagine waking up every day and realizing that the world around you, the situations you face, the people you meet, the challenges you encounter, are not realities out there, but precise projections of what's happening inside you. His neuronal field theory states there's a universal field of information where all possibilities coexist. What you call real life is only the fraction of that field your mind can decode based on your inner structure. This structure is made up of your beliefs, traumas, memories, dominant emotions, and above all, your current vibration. In other words, you don't observe reality, you select it. You see what your mind is programmed to perceive. The external is nothing more than a reflection of the internal, a mirror. This explains why two people can live through the same situation, but experience completely different realities. One finds opportunities where the other only sees obstacles. One feels gratitude with little, while the other suffers even with much. The difference isn't in the world, but in the vibrational filter through which each person accesses it. You co-create your reality with every thought, emotion, and mental pattern you maintain, and more. This process happens all the time, even if you're unaware of it. The pattern you hold internally works like a code, a password that defines the type of world you live in. That's why changing beliefs and raising your vibration aren't just spiritual practices. They're practical decisions for accessing a broader, lighter, more abundant reality. The problem is that most people try to change the world without changing themselves. They read books, search for techniques, work harder, but all of it happens on an old vibrational base. And so life stays the same. Because the world doesn't respond to your external effort, it responds to the frequency you emit. Therefore, the first step to changing your reality in 24 hours isn't to act differently, but to vibrate differently. To start noticing that every feeling you hold, every thought you repeat, every emotion you nurture is shaping how the field responds to you. You don't live in this world, you live in the world your mind allows you to access. Have you ever wondered why, even with good intentions and conscious effort, your life seems to repeat the same patterns? The reason lies in a territory most ignore, the subconscious. More than 90% of your life is directed by it, a silent but extremely powerful system that operates behind the scenes of your perception and creates with precision the reality you live. The subconscious is like a computer's operating system. It doesn't matter what you click on the screen. If the base code is corrupted, nothing will work as it should. Inside it are stored your deepest beliefs, traumas, automatic habits, emotional associations, and above all, your vibrational self-image, the unconscious idea of who you are and what you deserve. That's where the reticular activating system, RAS, comes in, a neurological structure responsible for filtering the billions of sensory stimuli you receive every second. It decides what's relevant to you based on what your subconscious considers important. This means that if, at an unconscious level, you believe money is hard, your RAS will ignore opportunities and highlight scarcity. If you believe nobody values me, your brain will emphasize rejections and overlook gestures of recognition. What we call real life is nothing more than a reality selected by these internal beliefs. And as these beliefs are reinforced over the years, they create a cycle. You live situations that confirm what you believe and that reinforces your subconscious programming even more. It's an invisible loop, but a real one. Grinberg understood the subconscious as a direct interface with the neuronal field. It doesn't just influence what you perceive, it shapes the field in real time, emitting frequencies coherent with your inner content. That's why trying to change life without reprogramming the subconscious is like trying to change the reflection in the mirror without touching your face. And there's another crucial detail. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic or conscious willpower. It responds to repetition, emotion, and vibrational state. That's why many people affirm what they want. I want prosperity, but keep vibrating the opposite. This will never work. And the subconscious obediently manifests what was felt most intensely, not what was said. The good news, the subconscious can be reprogrammed, and when that happens, the world changes. Not because something external magically transformed, but because you've begun to access a new range of reality. By becoming aware of this, you stop being a victim of chance and become the author of your experience. The secret is learning how to communicate with the subconscious the right way, and that's exactly what you're going to learn next. For a long time, you've been taught to repeat affirmations as a way to reprogram the mind. I am prosperous. I have abundance. I am confident. But there's a problem. If deep down you don't believe these phrases, your subconscious simply rejects them. And the more you repeat something that feels like a lie, the more you activate internal conflict and reinforce the old identity. It's like trying to paint a new picture on a damp, cracked wall. Nothing sticks. Jacobo Grinberg had already pointed out that the subconscious mind has automatic defenses against any attempt at forced change. The logic is simple. It was built to protect the identity you've created until now. This means any direct command can be perceived as a threat to mental stability, and so affirming something your experience doesn't confirm may cause more blockage than transformation. But there's a gap, an indirect, almost silent path that bypasses the ego and installs a new frequency without resistance. That path is a well-formulated question. Questions activate a neurological mechanism called the cognitive loop. When you ask something, your brain automatically starts searching for answers, even unconsciously. And most importantly, questions don't trigger resistance because they don't impose anything. They create space, curiosity, reflection. And in that space, the new vibration can enter. For example, notice the difference. Affirmation, I am rich. Question, why is it so easy for me to prosper lately? The first affirmation can trigger an inner response like, no, you're not. Look at your bank statement. The question, on the other hand, prompts your brain to consider the possibility that something good is already happening. It creates an internal field of investigation that needs to be filled with coherent perceptions. This effect is so powerful, it even has a name in science, the mere measurement effect. Studies show that simply asking something like, will you exercise this week, significantly increases the chances of actually exercising. The brain seeks coherence between what was asked and the action that follows. In the vibrational context, well-structured questions work like mental portals. They plant ideas in the subconscious without triggering the rejection alarm. And when combined with states of relaxation and visualization, like the hypnagogic state before sleep, they become powerful commands that reorganize perception and consequently reality. Examples of powerful questions include, what makes this new chapter of my life so light and prosperous? Why did everything start working out so well from today on? What is revealing itself now that proves everything has already worked out? These questions don't seek rational answers. They install vibrational frequencies. They don't force change. They allow it. And by asking yourself with presence and emotion, you activate the key that opens the next stage of transformation. Deep reprogramming in the 60 seconds before sleep. Few people know this, but the 60 seconds before sleep are the most powerful moment of your day. It's in this brief window, when the conscious mind begins to switch off and the subconscious takes command, that your next day's reality starts being configured. Use this moment with absolute intention, not to ask, wish, or imagine possibilities, but to install a new vibrational identity with conviction and presence. The technique is simple. Lie down consciously, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Feel yourself relaxing, noticing your body becoming lighter. Bring to mind the image of your ideal life, not as a distant dream, but as something already happening. Ask a powerful question that reflects this new reality. Why is it so natural to live this abundance now? What changed in me that everything started to flow? How is it so easy to feel peace and certainty every night? Feel it. Let your body sink into this emotional state as if it were real. Keep this vibration until you fall asleep. You don't need to repeat this for months. A single night, well done, already begins to change the field's patterns. 7 nights in a row deeply transform the structure of your mind. This minute isn't just a technique. It's a ritual of power, a vibrational vow with the universe, a silent decision about who you choose to be. and the world has no choice but to respond to it. There's a state of consciousness that transcends desire, doubt, and effort. It's known by many names, but here we'll call it the God state. The state where you don't ask, don't wait. You simply live as if it were already real. It's the vibrational apex of conscious creation, an inner place where wanting dissolves and certainty installs itself as unquestionable presence. Jacobo Grinberg saw this state as the highest expression of the human ability to alter the neuronal field. For him, consciousness doesn't just interact with reality, it structures reality from the identity you assume. When you enter the God state, you align with a version of yourself that already lives what you desire, and the field responds as an inevitable reflection. Neville Goddard said, "We don't attract what we want, we attract what we are," and that is the essence of the God state. It's not about repeating phrases or visualizing outcomes. It's about embodying the emotion of the fulfilled thing, walking, speaking, breathing, and making decisions as if your desire were already a solid fact. But pay attention, this isn't a state of arrogance or control. It's a state of silent certainty, of knowing without needing to prove, of feeling without needing to see. And this feeling is so powerful that the universe starts rearranging the pieces around you to validate what you've already become inside. See, desire, when sustained for too long, vibrates absence. It says, "I don't have it yet," and the field responds, reinforcing the absence. The God state vibrates presence. It says, "This is already mine," and the field collapses possibilities coherent with this new frequency. It's like putting on a new skin. With every choice, every word, every thought, you act from the new identity. Not because you're trying to convince the universe, but because you already know you are. And it's this coherence that generates reality collapses, what some call a miracle, but which is simply vibration aligned with identity. Entering the God state doesn't require complex visualizations or advanced techniques. It only requires inner decision and emotional practice. Ask yourself, how would I behave if I already lived the life I desire? How would I speak? What would I feel upon waking? How would I react to challenges? Now do this before sleeping. And more importantly, start acting like this during the day as well. Even if it feels forced at first, your brain will record this new way of existing. And as we've seen, the subconscious learns from what you do consistently, not from what you say you want. The God state isn't about achieving something, it's about remembering who you really are and living from that memory. When that happens, the outside world only confirms what you already know inside. After accessing the correct vibrational state, whether through the question before sleep or the practice of the God state, the greatest challenge appears: maintaining this frequency active the next day, even when reality hasn't changed yet. And this is where many people sabotage the process. They connect to the new vibration, feel a brief expansion, but soon look at the old reality and say, "Nothing happened." And by doing so, they break vibrational coherence, and the field reorganizes again based on doubt. The key is to recognize the small signs and not underestimate them. The universe rarely responds with immediate fireworks. It responds with subtle synchronicities, unlikely encounters, unexpected ideas, discrete opportunities. If you want to live in abundance, the first sign may not be a sum of money, but an inspiration to change something, a transformative conversation, or a new sense of inner clarity. Perceiving these signs is telling the field, "I recognize, I receive." And there's something even more important: acting in coherence with the new vibrational identity. It's not about pretending, it's about anticipating the version of yourself that already lives that reality. If you've decided you're a prosperous person, how would they act today? How would they handle money? How would they dress, speak, react? This coherence creates a bridge between the invisible and the visible. The subconscious registers these behaviors as confirmations of the new identity, and the neuronal field aligns with this pattern with every intentional gesture. Yet there will still be moments when you don't see immediate results. And here the greatest secret reveals itself: surrender. Surrendering isn't giving up. It's letting go of control over how and when. It's understanding that the field responds with its own intelligence, and that your only job is to maintain the vibrational state, not micromanage the means. When you demand a specific form for something to happen, you limit the field's action. But when you remain in trust, the field finds ways your mind could never imagine. Remember, you don't need to have all the answers. Your vibration is the password. Your feeling is the request. Your coherence is the confirmation. And your surrender is the sign that you trust enough to allow. So, notice the signs. Celebrate the small advances. Keep actions aligned with who you're becoming. And most of all, trust the invisible as if it were already visible. This is the final formula. Frequency plus coherence plus surrender. Reality collapse. The field has already heard your command. Now your role is to stay in tune. The rest it will do for you, in ways you could never plan. Now that you understand the depth and power of this practice, the most important moment has arrived. Act with intention. Understanding isn't enough. Feeling it for a few moments isn't enough. What changes your reality is the daily decision to keep the new frequency alive inside you, even when the world still looks the same. Tonight, before you sleep, apply everything you've learned here. Relax, breathe deeply, feel yourself living what you desire, and ask the question that installs the new identity. Not to get a rational answer, but to reprogram your vibration. Let yourself fall asleep immersed in this state, and notice how the world begins to change. And tomorrow, stay alert to the signs. They will come. Trust, celebrate, continue. Reality responds to vibrational consistency, not to anxiety about results.